Man, I swear, today is just one of those days where you record your video, you make it, you import your video, edit the video, halfway through the video, you just get that video, and you just crumble it up and throw it away. While I'm editing the video, I'm so fucking bored, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna post this. I'm sure it has to happen to some of you guys out there that make videos, so I'm just gonna go with the flow, give it to you guys straight, and see what you guys have to say. I am wearing a superhero shirt. Quick little question I have for you guys. It's kind of weird because I posted another video on my second channel, which I'll link it down in the description, and it was Injustice 2 gameplay, but I wasn't wearing this shirt. I got it for Father's Day, which I think is actually pretty dope. If you guys know all of them, let me know in the comments. I know this is the only guy that I don't know who the fuck he is. Probably I do, it's just I can't recognize him in this picture right there. If you're new to the channel, don't worry, I usually don't make videos like this. I usually actually play the game while I commentate, aka a live commentary, talk a lot of shit, make some unfunny jokes, scream a lot of over abused editing, and that's just what my channel has to offer, I guess. But today I just wanted to sit down and relax after figuring out that the previous video I made was complete shit. So after all that, I decided to just sit down here and just talk to you guys about this subject. It's actually very important, and probably just put some shitty gameplay right here on the right hand side corner of your screen. So Call of Duty World War II, and I'll say it again for those of you who have never heard anything about it, the game is looking very promising. I think 98% of the community will tell you the same thing, at least the people that have played it. It looks really good. It plays good. It sounds good. It just swallows you in while you're playing it, and I think that's what a Call of Duty has been missing for quite some time. So today, Ryan Prestige made a really good point that a lot of people, if not almost maybe nobody's talked about it. I mean, that's regarding supply jobs, not just supply jobs, supply job loot items, or whatever you guys call them, whether it has to do with character customization gears, or whether it has to do with weapons, or even weapon variants, which is basically what I wanted to focus in this video. Weapon variants. God, do people fucking hate weapon variants, and I just hope that this Call of Duty really nails it. Believe it or not, anything that comes from supply jobs could kind of give people, or players obviously, a bad taste in their mouth depending on what it is that the supply jobs have to offer. So I just really hope the Sledgehammer game really does, you know, nail this feature this time around. This Call of Duty just looks very, very promising, and it kind of sucked to just have a system such as supply jobs just literally fuck up the game. There hasn't been any confirmation as to if supply jobs is going to be in Call of Duty World War II, but I can almost promise you, okay, almost, and if you ask every other YouTuber, they're probably going to tell you the same thing. Supply jobs are not going to go anywhere. Now, necessarily, supply jobs don't have to be a bad thing. I feel like MWR Modern Warfare Remastered made supply jobs somewhat doable. They really didn't bother me that much because when I wanted something in particular, I've talked about this in the past, I was able to get it. I didn't have to open hundreds of dollars like in BO3 to just probably get a duplicate, right? Because they did it differently. So the question here is, Call of Duty World War II multiplayer and supply jobs, is it going to return? Most likely, 99.9% sure they are. What's it gonna bring? It's obviously gonna bring character customization if it does come, supply jobs, which again I'm saying that they are. If you weren't aware, the pre-order bonus for pre-ordering Call of Duty World War II multiplayer, you do get character skins for your soldiers, and I like how they're doing it. They kind of give us a little preview of how the character customization may look. It's not too overwhelming. Obviously they can't put fucking clowns here because we're in World War II unless they want to put fucking clowns, and so be it. But I don't think they're gonna go to that extent this time around because they want to make sure that this game is as accurate as possible, even though sometimes multiplayer can tell a different tale, but we'll see. So that definitely means that there are going to be some character customization, like character, you know, gear and stuff like that. I don't think they're going to bring character gear by just buying it. I think it's going to be via supply job system, because what's the point of supply jobs if that's not how you're going to implement the items for the game? So that's one thing. I think character gear is definitely coming back. Weapons, obviously there is going to be DLC weapons. Call of Duty has been having DLC weapons since Black Ops 2, which released in, I believe, 2011, 2012. I'm not quite sure right now. That's obviously coming. And then you have weapon variants, which obviously got introduced for the first time ever back in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And I really feel like Call of Duty Advanced Warfare and its weapon variants, it didn't get introduced right away. I think, or did it? I don't fucking remember right now. It probably did. When they first got released, it wasn't a big deal until probably a few weeks, maybe a few months, if I'm extending it that far, is when players really started noticing how advantageous, you know, it could be to have an Obsidian Steed against a regular, you know, BAL 27. Now, if you're wondering, Hollow, why are you talking about weapon variants? Why is it all of a sudden you're discussing this subject? Well, over on Twitter, okay, thankfully my laptop can provide me with some info. Sam tweeted out, I think it was probably after all the YouTubers went out and played, you know, Call of Duty World War II multiplayer. He tweeted out, does anyone know if there's going to be more than 10 weapons in the real game? If you didn't know, it was approximately 10 weapons within the build that YouTubers, including myself, got to play over at E3. They didn't obviously have all the weapons there. So then Ryan actually told him and tagged Michael Condrey asking him, and Michael Condrey replied by saying, multiples of. So a lot of people were freaking out. Some people even went to the extent of literally commenting under that tweet, "Let me have the obsidian steed," which was actually quite fucking hilarious. Now obviously that means that the majority of people are probably assuming that we are going to be having weapon variants, especially since Advanced Warfare, in other words Sledgehammer Games, being the developer of AW, were the ones responsible for bringing weapon variants into the Call of Duty franchise. Weapon variants is not something that is kind of like on the good side when it comes to Call of Duty fans. I would say the majority of Call of Duty fans dislike weapon variants just because it gives players an advantage over players that do not spend the equivalent of or more or less money, or just money period, in supply drops. What happens is, since Call of Duty is so multiplayer driven and people take this game so seriously, people kind of dislike when you have an obsidian steed against somebody that has just a regular Bal 27, right? Or an ASM1 speakeasy against a regular ASM1. People just don't like that because you have an upper hand, and it is also known as paid to win. A lot of people were kind of freaking out. Now, this is what I think about what Michael Condry said when he commented multiples of. Now, it could mean that he was just talking about weapons in general, and he's saying that there's going to be multiple weapons, meaning more than just 10 weapons. It could also mean that there's going to be weapon variants. It can also mean that there's going to be something like weapon variants, but more towards the cosmetic side, kind of like what MWR has. This is where Raven comes into play. I don't know how many of you guys were paying attention on one of the previous videos that I made, or just in general, or in the Call of Duty community. Raven Software is actually going to be working with Sledgehammer Games in Call of Duty World War II. I'm pretty sure they're going to attack the multiplayer as well. I mean, Raven just did some really good things with an MWR for multiplayer. Me personally, I don't know how you guys feel. You guys can, you know, obviously let me know in the comments. I like the MWR supply drop system better than any other Call of Duty. Supply drops are obviously not going to go anywhere. It's making them too much money. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. A lot of the games nowadays, if not all of them, even sports games, you know, basketball, baseball, UFC, they all have some type of loot system. Even Battlefield 1 has a loot system. They have kind of like supply drops. So Raven Software, I would assume, since we already have inspection mode within Call of Duty World War II multiplayer, I would assume that Call of Duty World War II would bring weapon kits, kind of like MWR, instead of weapon variants. I don't see Call of Duty World War II bringing weapon variants. I am pretty sure that Activision as a company, and Sledgehammer Games being the developer of this Call of Duty, they are aware that people don't like weapon variants. Weapon variants don't necessarily have to be in Call of Duty to make them money if that's what they're concerned about. I mean, if you look at Black Ops 3, Black Ops 3 had no weapon variants, and I think it was probably one of the supply drop systems that made the most money for them. Obviously, weapon variants are not the thing that needs to be implemented into this game if their main focus is to make money of this Call of Duty, which I doubt it. I really think they're trying to focus on reviving the series, just because for the past few years it's kind of been going downhill, probably with the exception of Black Ops 3, because that game did fantastic. I truly believe that this Call of Duty is being developed, and they're trying really hard to make this Call of Duty possibly the best Call of Duty yet. Even if you look at the divisions, it's so well done, so well thought out. When you play multiplayer, each division is going to give you a pro and a con, as opposed to in previous Call of Duties, if you just create a class and you choose the perfect perks, you could probably have a really overpowered class setup. Within divisions, it feels like everything's going to be a little bit more balanced out. It would be a shame for them to throw away the whole balanced out feel of the game by just implementing weapon variants and having everybody run with a super, you know, super overpowered, rare, or epic weapon variant of a particular weapon, like the MP40 or the M1 or whatnot. I really think it's going to be weapon kits. I think that, yes, it's going to be a little bit more challenging them actually making weapon kits for a World War II game, because they're trying to probably keep it as realistic as possible. But if they can manage to nail this, I think it could be really, really well done, making the weapons look kind of like how they did in MWR, where they felt like they were broken or just overused and abused. If they can add that or implement that into the weapon kits for Call of Duty World War II multiplayer, if they do go with weapon kits, which I hope they fucking do, I think it'll be a great idea. And I honestly think it's gonna be weapon kits. I could be wrong. I just feel like Raven Software working with Call of Duty World War II, I feel like both teams are gonna get together, or already getting together, and they're gonna kind of just share ideas from what worked in Advanced Warfare and from what worked within MWR. Obviously, what Raven had to bring new into MWR and made the game fun. With that said, I wouldn't even put it past them if they were to bring fucking prop hunt to Call of Duty World War II multiplayer, which would be amazing, especially with the headquarters thing of the whole 48 players. That would be insane. Like, that would be fucking awesome. So yeah, Call of Duty World War II multiplayer weapon variants. I know a lot of people were concerned under his comment section. Like Ryan said, a lot of people haven't talked about this, and I think it's actually a really interesting subject just because Call of Duty WW2 sounds weird. It's right around the corner. Michael Condrey, obviously, the response that he gave was very dry, and that's some of the things that they do. They don't want to give you too much information. They want to kind of keep players or the fan base just kind of guessing. If they want to make this game as great as they made it feel when we played it, I think they're not going to add weapon variants. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? Weapon variants or weapon kits? I know a lot of you guys are actually fans of weapon variants. A lot of you guys like to fucking be OP as fuck and spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Let me know, what do you guys want? Weapon variants or weapon kits? As far as supply drops, really quickly, things that I would like to see, exactly what MWR. I don't know if Michael Condrey watches my videos. If he does, fucking awesome. But if anybody at Sledgehammer Games, you know, works there and watches any of my videos, I would like to see the type of system, and I know this would be good for Call of Duty if, you know, supply drops are not going to be going anywhere. I really feel like they need to do what MWR did. If you get dupes, please reward the player properly for getting dupes. A lot of people really do love Call of Duty. I understand there's one portion you gotta make money, but I understand there's another portion where you gotta make your fans happy, man. You know, the Call of Duty has been supported for over 10 plus years already. I think MWR did the perfect thing with the whole rewarding players back with parts if they got a dupe. Like, I remember if you got like 10 dupes, you were set to go. You could buy a brand new gun. I think that was awesome. You know, I felt like in BO3, they never took out any of the camos or anything, even from day one. So the more things that they added into BO3, it just became harder and harder to get new weapons or new skins, because you were going up against a pool of thousands and thousands of things that have already been in the game since day one. And to be honest, burning dupes didn't really give you that much. I think if you can bring parts and you could do the whole crafting system within Call of Duty World War II multiplayer, which actually makes a lot of sense for a World War II game, I think it would be great. I'm going to be optimistic, and I'm going to hope for the best, and I'm hoping that they are going to go that route. But again, let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? If Michael Condrey were watching this video and you could tell him anything, comment it down in the comments below. If you obviously got this far into the video, which if you didn't, I don't fucking blame you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys tuning back into the channel. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you guys punch that shit in the face, and I'll catch you guys later.